Before we can utilize our position passes correctly in Nuke, we're going to need a camera. Otherwise we won't be able to recreate our camera move and place things correctly within the scene. To get a camera out of Maya, and this is not specific to V-Ray, you can either use the FBX or the Alembic format. So first I'll go to Windows Outliner and I will select our camera, which is our RenderCam 2. That's just the name of the camera that I've been using in this scene. It was the view I preferred. Now I'm going to go to File, Export Selection, and Files of Type. We need to scroll down to find FBX, and we need to scroll down on the right to find the advanced options, FBX file format, and use FBX 2010. So although there are newer, fancier flavors, it is not always compatible with other software, so FBX 2010 tends to be compatible with everything, and that will by default export into your scenes folder. You can obviously decide to put it somewhere else. Personally, I prefer to use the Alembic format. Now that's not in your file export selection. If you go to File, Export Selection and look for Alembic, you just simply won't find it. That's because, as Autodesk will want to do, they tend to add new features as plugins, and the Alembic format is in Cache, Alembic Cache, Export Selection to Alembic. So it's not in File Export Selection, it's in Cache, Alembic Cache. Don't ask me why. Now I've already practiced this, that's why we've got 2 or 3 versions of this. I haven't been practicing exporting, but I've been practicing talking about it. And that goes into your Maya Cache Alembic folder. So I'll create this, RenderCam 2A, Export Selection. Now by default it shows the time slider. You can obviously set a specific start or end. You can even just render the current frame if you only need a specific frame. You can set a pre-roll that is before your scene, so before your camera move starts. That may or may not be useful. One example where it might be useful is you need to recreate motion blur accurately. Now let's export our selection. Of course it already sees the file, so it asks if I want to replace it, and I do. And that doesn't really take very long. And we're done. So now we can take our camera and we can take our position passes and jump into Nuke.